90% of what you see around creatine is purely marketing. One that absorbs faster, a better version than the rest. This product doesn't cause bloating. It's got another supplement added to it to make it better. When I first started taking creatine, I listened to all of these claims. I was obsessed with finding the optimal version so I could improve quicker, all the while convincing myself that I was leveling up. Then I started looking at the research. So before we jump into the next level, we need to understand how creatine actually works in your body. Because once you get that, everything else just clicks into place. Creatine is a naturally occurring compound that is stored mainly in the muscles as phosphocreatine. Its main role? Regenerate something called ATP, adenosine triphosphate. This is your body's fastest and most direct form of energy. When you lift heavy, sprint, or train hard, your body burns through ATP in seconds, leading to proper fatigue. This is where creatine steps in to donate a phosphate molecule to recharge ATP to keep you performing at a high level. Simply put, more creatine in your muscles means you can train harder for longer before fatigue sets in. It also draws water into the muscle cells, improving hydration, increasing cell volume, and triggering pathways linked to muscle growth. This is where one of the big myths around taking creatine comes in. You'll gain weight if you take creatine. Yes, this is technically correct, but it's a very small amount of intramuscular hydration, making your muscles look bigger and fuller, which in my book is a good thing. So now that we understand the different functions of creatine in the body, let's talk about the creatine products on the market and rate them from best bang for your buck down to it can get in the bin. Starting with Old Faithful creatine monohydrate powder. In my opinion, this is the absolute gold standard. Literal thousands of studies backing this as the best form you can take. It's the cheapest and most effective, and it's adaptable because you can add it to any part of your hydration strategy for that day. It can cause bloating if you nail it down in one swig, so maybe it's best to sip on it throughout the day. On the bang for your buck scale, I'm giving it a 9.5 out of 10. The next product we've got is creatine tablets. A really popular alternative to the powder because it's convenient. It's easier to take some tablets on a plane than it is to try and get through security with a tub of white powder. Slightly slower absorption because your body has to break down the capsule before it starts absorbing the creatine itself. And with that comes a higher cost per dosed output. So it's giving you the same results just at a higher cost for convenience. So again, on the bang for your buck scale, I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. Now let's go with product number 3. Creatine gummies. An incredibly popular product as a way of getting in creatine without having to take on more powders or more pills. The dosage issues with creatine gummies has been widely reported over the past year, with so many companies underdosing their products from what they say is in them. Even if the product would have the actual dosage of creatine that it says on the packet, you need to consume 9 to 12 gummies every day just to get the required dose, which is really cost intensive. Now couple that with the fact that these products are wildly underdosed. Some products only having 0.05 milligrams of creatine per gummy. When you add up the maths, that's a ridiculous amount of creatine gummies to eat in a day to get to your target. They're incredibly expensive and often not trustworthy. In my opinion, they can get in the bin right now, and I'm going to give them a 1 out of 10. And now a product that's starting to become more and more popular. Pre-mixed creatine drinks. There's a reason why you don't see many of these. Pre-mixed creatine has an extremely unstable shelf. When mixed and left for long periods of time, creatine can transform into creatinine, which is not used to saturate the creatine in your muscles. Whilst there are plenty of attempts now to make it more stable, there is a cost impact on that. And a lot of the times, the creatine dosage in these pre-mixed drinks is actually quite low, because the companies assume you're going to get the relevant dosage from the rest of your diet. I don't know about you, but if I'm buying a product for creatine, I want it to have the amount I need so I don't have to pick up from other places. This is a classic example of convenience over efficacy. It can be useful, and for that reason I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. And then finally we've got creatine blends. So creatine added to other products like EAAs or electrolytes. They can be really useful if you're fed up of taking 5 to 10 different supplements each day and having to remember to mix them all together. They are of course a higher cost per dose, because not only do they have the added extra electrolytes, for example, they tend to be flavoured, and therefore the cost of that will be far higher than just normal creatine monohydrate powder. If you like adding shiny extras or convenience into your life, it can be a good and useful tool, because at the baseline it's still creatine monohydrate powder, just with added other extras. Let's look at these products and see where I place them on the scale. No matter how it's packaged, powder, gummies, or premixed drink, the key molecule is the same. Only creatine monohydrate consistently delivers the full benefit that you are looking for when it comes to creatine supplementation. And it's backed by decades of research. So now that we've covered the fundamentals, let's go to the next level. How to use creatine to maximize its benefits. Starting with dosage. 3 to 5 grams consistently taken for 30 days will saturate the level of creatine in your muscles. If you suffer with bloating, aim for the lower end of that scale and steadily build up a tolerance. And as I said before, don't take it all in one hit. Spread it out throughout the day. Loading phases. In reality, there is no real need to load creatine, but you can speed up saturation with a 20-gram dose a day for 5 to 7 days. But again, be aware that that's going to be a lot of potential for bloating. You will achieve a really high level of creatine uptake if you load. But for what reason? Because as I said, over 30 days, creatine saturates anyway. Timing and efficiency. Science shows that timing is nowhere near as important as consistency when it comes to creatine intake. So let's aim for habit stacking here to make it a ritual part of your daily routine. If you can take it alongside a meal, that's great, because the carbohydrates will aid in the uptake of that creatine. Tapering and breaks. There is no real need to cycle off creatine unless you're advised to do so by a medical professional for a specific reason. And also, muscle stores drop slowly, so it isn't a case of you stop taking it for a day and you have to start again. Long-term consistency is the key to real improvement. High dosages for cognitive improvement. There is emerging evidence that taking an extremely high dosage of creatine will improve cognitive function, with a recent study showing that a 30-gram dosage of creatine for sleep-deprived individuals improves cognitive processing, performance, and short-term memory. But to be honest, for those healthy individuals who are getting good sleep, training effectively, and taking a 3 to 5 gram dose every day anyway, the benefits of increasing the dosage to see a cognitive improvement is going to be minimal anyway. Don't expect a massive nootropic hit from an excessive dose. Other studies are currently looking at how creatine improves neuroprotection, depression management, and healthy aging. So on the whole, creatine cannot be thought of as just a muscular improvement supplement. There are definitely benefits emerging to show cognitive and brain function improvement long term. So to recap then, what are the next level 1%? Dose, 3 to 5 grams a day. Timing isn't critical, consistency is. Long-term intake has the potential to improve energy levels, reduce fatigue, and improve brain power. And there is no need to cycle off, it is important to maintain consistency. Creatine isn't complicated, but understanding how it works helps you make smarter choices. If you found this breakdown helpful and you want more nutrition insights to improve the quality of your clients and your nutrition performance, don't forget to hit subscribe so you don't miss a video. So that's it from me today, team. Remember to do all the things that I say to do. Get outside, get some steps in, train, hydrate, eat well, feel good, but above all, be kind, be happy. Let's go.